there was a moment where I was like, okay, I'm feeling the sads. Like there was one day in particular where I was like, I just was sad and there was nothing, I had my baby, I have a roof over my head. I have everything I could need and want. And I was really bummed out. And I think that sort of was like, okay, I think it's time to, in retrospect, that was my signal or my benchmark for like, you're okay to go back to work.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. This is MILF Podcast, the show where we talk about motherhood, entrepreneurship, sexuality, and everything in between. I'm Jennifer Tracy, your host. So excited about today's episode. We have Grace Bauer on the show. She is president of operations. How's that for a sexy title? Of Ashley Longshore Art. I met Kate because I was friends with Ashley, and I met Ashley, who's just a phenomenal artist, very, very incredibly talented. When I was living in New Orleans briefly, when my son was 2 and my husband at the time was working on a film, and Marcy, my dear friend who used to live there, said, go visit Ashley at her studio. She'll entertain you and the baby. And I was like, okay. And I was so in my depression, so in my postpartum depression still. My son was about to turn 2 and I was undiagnosed and untreated and just miserable. And it was summertime. And I went to visit Ashley and she just showed me her paintings. I just would stand there looking at these phenomenal giant paintings of goldfish and Audrey Hepburn's profile. And it was just her. It was just her in her studio back then. Because this was like 8 years ago, almost 9 years ago. And now her company has just exploded. A couple years after that, she met Kate, and Kate started working with her. And it's just, I love both of their stories. I really had wanted to interview Kate for a long time, and we finally got it together. We got together online. She has a baby that's almost 2 now, and Coco. And if you follow her on Instagram, her handle is at Kate Grace Bauer, Bauer. You will get to see a lot of Ashley Longshore Art, but also a lot of Coco, who is just, wow. She is just really delicious. So it's such a fun conversation, and we really got into it. We really got into it about maternal mental health. We got into it about being a working mom and balancing that and all of those things. And within that, a context also, I just want to add a little pitch for this month's highlighted give for MILF Podcast, which is the Global Alliance for Maternal Mental Health. I chose them because I think what they're doing is so phenomenal. It's a coalition of international organizations who are committed to improving the mental health and well-being of women and their children in pregnancy, as well as the first postnatal year throughout the world. There's my child in the background. He's having a play date. So anyway, this organization is really dope, and what they're doing is amazing. And one of the things that they illuminated for me, which I kind of already knew, but I love like real facts, mental health problems in pregnancy and following childbirth are roughly twice as common in low-income countries as they are in high-income countries. If the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals are to be achieved by 2030, maternal mental health must be prioritized. So check out their website. There's a lot of different resources that they offer. They have real-life stories on video. It's really illuminating. And if there's any way that you can support them, either by becoming a member or just promoting awareness around what they do, it's really helpful. Without further ado, here's my interview with Kate Grace Bauer. I really hope you guys enjoy it. I know you will. Hi, Kate Grace.
Hello. How are you?
I'm so good. I'm so happy to see your beautiful face.
Same.
How's New Orleans?
It's good. It's so hot right now. Still.
It is still?
Yes. I don't.
Well, global warming.
A cool down until like a week from now, I think maybe.
Oh.
I know. So, but we're just, barreling through and dealing with it and turning the air down low. And
yeah. doing what you do. You've been doing it all summer. I mean, it's just part of it. And then you get the glorious fall.
I know.
New Orleans fall and winter and spring are so heavenly.
They really are. It's such a fun time because then there's like lots of there's a festival every weekend anyway. But like this, everyone is excited to be outside and there's shopping and there's, sports seasons and, people are just super jazzed.
It's magical. Yeah. I love it there. It's a really special place. Now I feel like you're from here, from LA. Did I get that right?
I'm from New Orleans.
What? How did I think you're in LA?
I know. Well, because I have an LA phone number and I just kept it.
Maybe that's why. And you're here a lot.
I'm there.
Not just for Ashley, but you. Yeah.
Exactly. I spent.
You have family.
Yes. I lived there for 10 years. I went to school out there. I did like the early part of my 20s out there, which was so much fun. And both of my sisters live out there. So I'm out there every few weeks.
Yeah. Oh, that's so nice. That's so nice. And so nice for Coco to come and just be loved on.
God.
Not that she's not loved on down there. I mean, that child is so scrumptious.
Yes. But surrounded by
many aunties. Yes.
Exactly. She's so spoiled out there.
So you grew up in New Orleans?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. I never knew that.
I know. Born and raised.
Oh, wow. That's so great. So it is really in you. Because I mean, New Orleans is one of those places. And I had the opportunity to live there unfortunately, it was when I was married and my husband was shooting a film over the summer. That's when I met Ashley because of Marcy, because of our beautiful Marcy. I just talked to her today. And it just was the worst time to be there. But we lived right by Tulane and Audubon Park. And he was 2. He was Coco's age, actually.
Oh my gosh. What a
And it was just, there was so much to do and so much to see. And we would go and look at the ducks every morning. And I wish we would have been there when the weather was cooler though, because, it's a great place to just be outside.
Yeah, it is for sure. Y'all were here in the summer.
Yeah. From June till I think I went home maybe the end of August.
Oh God.
Just the worst time.
The worst liver.
The worst time. But okay, so you grew up, but then you went to college. Now, were you always interested in what were your interests growing up in New Orleans?
I was very interested. I loved dancing and I enjoyed theater, and I was very much I just was a fun, loving, life-loving, bubbly person, and still am.
Yes, you are.
So I went to school in Los Angeles for theater.
No way! I didn't know that. Did you go to UCLA?
I went to Cal State Fullerton.
Oh, fantastic. That's such a great school.
A great theater program at the time.
Yeah, they're known for it. They still do. Yeah.
Yeah. So I went there and had a fantastic time and met some amazing people that I'm still friends with and in contact with, and just got on stage and did it, and then I graduated and started to audition and realized how hard.
So hard. It's so hard. It's so hard.
Was no, I think I'd rather make money. So, pay rent. So I just did what you do in your 20s. I waitressed and I cocktail waitressed and I worked at the House of Blues and saw Prince and just, sort of really fun thing to do. And just had a fun, life as a 20-year-old in Los Angeles.
And then, so what was next? What was it that you came back to New Orleans next?
Then, I graduated from college, came back to New Orleans briefly in 2005. Katrina hit.
Oh, yeah.
So then back out to LA and then stayed out there for another 4 or 5 years and did all kinds of fun stuff. I was a nanny and I helped my sister open her clothing store, and I did, marketing and consulting. And then I moved back to New Orleans 10 years ago and was the marketing director for a huge music venue down here.
Oh.
And did that for a while. And then kind of had a brief period where I was just sort of finding myself and, deciding what I wanted to do. And then I subsequently met Ashley and started working with her. And that was 6 or 7 years ago.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. I remember when you came on board and it was a really exciting time for her company.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it was maybe just the two of you at the time.
It was the two of us. And then we had another intern that helped us with like the bedazzling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And and then it just kind of exploded into this, global phenom.
It's a beast. It's a beast.
Yes.
It's a beautiful, beautiful, bedazzled, bold, and unafraid beast. So, but wait a minute. So all of this stuff, what's so interesting, this is fascinating. You and I have so much more in common than I even realized. All of the stuff that you did, including your theater, including the waitressing and cocktail and all that, that really prepared you to be the director of operations for Ashley Longshore Art.
Yes. I mean, I think so. It's like you never exactly know where, I mean, in your 20s, you just, and I only know this because I work with a bunch of 20-year-olds. Yeah. And it's such a hard time. I mean, like, as great as it is, your skin is really tight. There's no, I mean, you don't get hangovers, or if you do, you just plow through them. Like, fantastic. But also the lack of
it's brutal.
Knowledge and what you're doing with your, I mean, there is.
You couldn't pay me to go through it again.
Never. Mm-mm. I would never go back. And and so but all of those little nuggets of like, oh, I'll figure out how to do this and I'll master that. I'll master how to like create a website because I might need to know how to do that. Or I'll master how to like make a PDF because I don't know, I might need to know how to do,
gaining skills.
Gaining skills, filling your peripheral like bowl with like customer service and knowing how, I mean, I just think that like, to me, it's like working in the service industry is just part of growing, like just living, like knowing how to deal with like a customer who like is just a bitch, or just unhappy, like because they, because of whatever, like, and how to turn it and make them happy is so, there's no better feeling to me, and so that's just, it really did. And like, being in theater and being able to like put on different hats and be different roles and adapt to your surroundings is like super necessary.
It really is. It's crucial. And it makes it so that you can, I mean, in my experience, and I've just watched you, you are very graceful, which is why it's so interesting that part of your name is Grace, but you can let things roll off. Yes,
100%. 100%. It's definitely the idea of, sort of like having an experience and learning from it. And even if you pocket it and you're like, okay, I'm not exactly sure what the lesson is that I learned just now, but I know that there is some lesson in there. Yeah. If you just pocket it and let it grow on its own, it will absolutely come back full circle. And you'll be like, oh my God, that's what that, really hard little bump was, or that's why I had to like sob and cry about that because I needed to flesh that out, emotionally. Yes. And I'm in this new place and I've learned X, Y, and Z from it.
Yes. And that only comes with age.
My God, I know it.
Unless you're like, the two exceptions I always say are Leonardo DiCaprio and Gwyneth Paltrow. I think they just came out of the womb completely like evolved, at least on screen. I'm like, I remember and even in my 20s, I would watch their performances and go, what? How are you so deep? I don't even get it, but it's very rare. And so somewhere along this journey, you met your husband, or did you know him?
No. Okay. So the funny thing is that we both were born and raised in New Orleans, but we didn't know each other growing up, which is very uncommon because New Orleans is
small.
Such a small town. And, he went to Jesuit, which is the all boys high school. And I went to Sacred Heart, which is the all girls high school. And, our schools hang out, even though I'm 3 years older than him. So, but we just never knew each other growing up. And so when I moved back here like 10 years ago, it's funny because I was doing the marketing directing for this club, this music venue, and he's a songwriter. And so he had a show coming up. And so, went to go meet him and met him at this, the Po' Boy Festival or whatever. And, thought he was a total asshole.
Really? No way.
Right. And I was like, who does this guy think he is? All this stuff. And then, our paths kept crossing and more of our mutual friends kept saying, I really want you to meet this guy. I really want you to meet this girl. And we were like, oh, well, that's great because we've already met each other. So, we were halfway already there. So, yeah. And so then 10 years and a wedding and a baby later, here we are.
Oh my gosh. Well, so wait a minute. What happened that you met him again and suddenly didn't think he was an asshole? What changed?
He was to his credit, he was just coming off stage. And as any performer knows, once you sort of exit the stage, generally speaking, you sometimes need like a minute to decompress and just absorb and just shed everything that has just, happened on stage. And I literally came up to him like 110%. Bubble, like, hey, what's up? My name is Kate, and listen, I'm doing the show, and da-da-da. And he was just like, yeah, okay, what? Fine, whatever. Like, just, was very
the timing wasn't good. Yeah,
timing was awful. And when we subsequently put on this event, and he realized like how dedicated I was to sort of the execution of like just my type A personality and my perfectionism really I think I even was like, I want to make sure the green room is like spectacular for him because I just want him to know that he's just, that I'm a really great person, all these things. And so he kind of was like, all right, she's amazing. And so then our paths kept crossing and we went out for Thai food and like literally the rest is history. I was like staying at his house like a couple of days later and just didn't.
So within that, so you were already with him when you started working for Ashley.
Yeah, totally. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And for my listeners to catch up in case I didn't say this in the intro, which I will. What I'm talking about is Ashley Longshore, the amazing artist, and we'll have links to her work, obviously, in the show notes of this. So, okay, so then you started working for Ashley, and so Coco's almost 2, or she's?
Yes.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I know.
So, but what I want to really ask you about is you started working for Ashley. And in that time, since you started working for her, which is 7 years ago, you said? 8 years ago?
Yeah,
okay.
I can't even remember.
So the business that you have all created, based on Ashley's genius, but that you got, because I know I've either met most of the team or I know the team, like it's a big team now. And like we said at the beginning of the podcast, it's a beast. So, but somewhere in there, you got pregnant. So how was that like running this really big, growing company, getting pregnant and having a baby? What was that like?
So I have to say it was pretty amazing. And I just, for the record, Ashley is an unbelievably kind and caring leader and boss, especially when it comes to empowering women, holding them up, and also just sort of surrounding herself with empowered women, right? So it always, like from the very beginning, even before I got pregnant, there was lots of conversations because Ashley and I have had a very transparent relationship, and we've always just, it was like, this is what I want for my life, and I know that I want to be a mother, and I will, in all likelihood, still be working with you when, that's going to happen. And so it was always part of the conversation, right? So as soon as I got, I think I held back for maybe 7 weeks before I told her. I couldn't, I couldn't bear to, and also I was like feeling like shit, so I just, and when you work with these people for 8 hours a day, I spend more time with these women than I spend with my own family. Yeah. And so they know when something's not right, and so, but anyway, so it was always like, this very happy sort of like, when you get pregnant, this is what's going to happen, and you will get maternity leave and it will be paid and covered, so it was very, I knew it was a nurturing and very sort of comprehensive and well planned out experience. And so, and I hope, I want that for every woman in the world and in the workforce, because
hallelujah.
so important for me because it's such a cherished time. You know, you that baby needs you.
Yes.
And so working, you know, being pregnant, thank God I wasn't horribly sick. I didn't suffer from morning sickness or anything like that. My pregnancy was a breeze. I loved it. It was beautiful and perfect. And I took pictures of my belly and I did, you know, I just loved every second of it. I was exhausted the first trimester, but everybody is, you know, and I'd get up in the morning, have my little cup of coffee that I could have, go to work an entire day, come home and go to sleep. And that's what that was. And then, I literally worked up until, I think I was still selling art in the hospital. Like when we
I could just see you.
Into the hospital room.
So you taking calls from collectors.
You have to turn on your vacation notification. Like you have to.
I love that.
So, but that's what, when you love what you do, it doesn't ever leave you, you know? So, and then I had Coco and everything was, you know, we went to visit the gallery like a week after she was born, and just say hi to everybody. And now it's been sort of like, you know, my colleague Rachel now has a 7-month-old. And so we've got 2 babies in the gallery now, and it's super friendly. Usually we have them in there on like Friday mornings or Friday afternoons. And, you know, if we have to have them with us during the day, that's fine. We thankfully we have a team of 30, you know, mostly women, but some men, people that are just the most nurturing, empathic, beautiful, wonderful, caring people. So
that's incredible.
It's a true village. And if I, you know, if I need to bring Coco with me, she comes with me. And, you know, I've got a team of people that will help me. If I need to get, you know, 27 emails out in an hour, then, you know, she's there and she can be watched, and I get those emails out.
That's incredible. And when she's not with you, where is she?
She's at home. We have we have some help at home, thank goodness. And so she's got my friend Toy and my other friend Madeline, who watch her and take her to the zoo and take her to her story time and her gym class and all. I wish I was Coco sometimes.
No kidding.
The life and the clothes.
Oh my God. Her wardrobe is enviable.
It is.
I will never forget. I wish I would have screenshotted it. There was this one. So, and I was Writing Dirty. Was that inspired by you originally?
The toes?
Yeah. Or was that Ashley's foot?
That's all. That was Ashley, and most of those feet are Shannon's. One of them was
yours. Okay. Most of those are Shannon's. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So, but there was one photo you did of Coco, and for our listeners, it's Writing Dirty. Ashley Longshore's definition of Writing Dirty is when you're wearing sandals and your pinky toe is sticking out of the side of the sandals. Like, oh my God, I love her. I love her mind so much. I can't even handle how much I love her. So, but you had taken a photo of Coco's little baby foot with the pinky sticking out of the sandal. It
was really funny. I know. She cracks me up.
She is a character.
Yeah, she is. And she's coming into her personality. She's 21 months. And we're, you know, JM and I joke that she's 3 months away from us just being able to say she's 2, because honestly, the 22nd, you know, but it's crazy how much they develop month to month and day to day.
It's so fast.
You know,
and yet sometimes doesn't it feel like, oh my God, like it's long?
Girl.
You know, where you're just like, please sleep. I love you so much, but please stop.
I just need you to take a fucking nap.
Oh my God. Yeah. And did you experience any postpartum stuff or?
I don't think that I did. I had a C-section, which was unexpected and super traumatizing. And it just was unexpected. And so I think that's what in turn made it traumatizing.
Of course.
You know, if you're prepared for it, it's probably not a big deal. But when you're thinking, even though as a woman, as a mother, you're like, whatever way they'll be healthy, I'll be fine with, But when you think you're going to have like a natural birth
Of
and then
course.
it just sort of takes this immediate turn, you're kind of like, what? No,
of course. Well, and cesareans are no joke. I mean, that is a major surgery.
It is. And I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I believe
nobody tells you.
No, they don't talk about that. Like they breeze past it in like what to expect. Like they literally are just like, oh, in a C-section, they cut you out. But it's, I didn't want to take the painkillers, and my doctor was like, take the fucking painkillers.
Yeah.
Like don't skimp on those. Yeah. Like you've had a major surgery. You need, but all that to say, like I was sort of reeling from the, like after she was born, I've never felt a kind of high like that in my life. And, just that overwhelming, like, it's a little bit of Percocet. It's a little bit of like, you just love, it's a little bit of, sleeplessness and mania and all that rolled into one. And I was just like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. This is fantastic. And I think that by the third month, because like I said, I did get a full 12 weeks, paid maternity.
Yeah.
There was a moment where I was like, okay, I'm feeling the sads. Like there was one day in particular where I was like, I just was sad.
Yeah.
And there was nothing, I had my baby, I have a roof over my head. I have everything I could need and want. And I was really bummed out. And I think that sort of was like, okay, I think it's time to, in retrospect, that was my signal or my benchmark for like, you're okay to go back to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though I also was super anxious about that, because I was like, oh my God, like I'm leaving my newborn with someone that I literally just met like 3 weeks ago. Right. And I don't know what that's going to be like.
Did you have at that time like a daycare situation or a caregiver?
We had a nanny, our nanny Madeline.
Okay.
Both of them.
But they were new to you at the time.
Yes, of course. Yeah. Yes, they were new, and it was, my baby, my brand new baby. And I also was like, I don't know how my brain is going to work. Like, how is my brain? Is it actually going to go back and work the way that it worked before, when I didn't have this thing living outside of my body that I like love more than anything in the whole world.
Yes.
But as far as like having postpartum anxiety or depression, I didn't really ever experience that. Thankfully.
Yes.
But I'm also very sensitive and very aware of the way that my body changes. I'm aware of like my menstrual cycle. And I know that I have, anxiety, premenstrual anxiety. Like I just know that about myself. And so when I start to feel those things and I feel my brain chemistry doing that thing, I'm like, oh, wait, what's today? Okay. Oh, wait. Oh, right. It's 28 days from that's, I feel like the world is going to end.
Yes. Yes. Hormones are no joke. I mean, they just really are no joke. And I don't know what your experience is. Well, we're going to find out. But like most women who give birth, whether it's a cesarean, by cesarean or vaginally, I feel like of all the women I've talked to in general, but on the show specifically, like there's just this sort of like you stay in the hospital, whatever it is, the requisite 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. And then they just hand you a pamphlet. They hand you your baby and they're like, bye. Here's your underwear with the net mesh to keep the blood from, and then they're like, bye, you're good. If you have a cesarean, you get a checkup after maybe a week or something. And then again, they're like, bye. There's no, I'm like, are you guys kidding me right now?
I feel like it takes more time to lease a car than it does to have a living, breathing child.
Yeah.
Like I literally was at the Volvo dealership for, it felt like 73 hours. Yeah. Like this was like, why am I still here?
Yeah. And you have to sign all this stuff and they have to make sure that you understand it and they have to check your credit. But this, it's just like, oh no, you're good to go. And I feel like there's not enough checkup on the moms. on them physically, on them emotionally and mentally. There's just not enough follow-up. And I don't know why that is. And it's frustrating to me. And I'm ultimately like, I don't know. I want to do something about it. I don't know what that's going to look like, but
that's so interesting because I do too.
Yeah.
100%. And I'm with you. I don't understand why there isn't more of a conversation and because, or why it isn't more illuminated and it is something absolutely that I am like championing. Like everyone that I know that I interact with that is either becoming a mom or is a mom or whatever, I literally am just always in there to say that is 100% fine. It's exactly what you should be feeling.
Yes.
Or here's the name of a group of therapists that you can go see, or you have to have a black robe.
Yes.
For the hospital. That should be in your bag. Like nobody told me that.
Yeah.
I literally didn't know I was going to be bleeding for 3 weeks, like heavily.
Yes.
Just like, and I always am, I'm trying to constantly just, because there is such a, especially now when you have this, thing at your fingertips that is a wealth of knowledge, but also a wealth of scrutiny. And, I'm talking about your cell phone.
Yes.
This thing that sort of that connects you to the world in a superficial way, but that you like feel so intimate with because it's such a small space and it's in your face and next to your being. And, there's so much insecurity that comes with like, oh my God, wait, why is that baby's eating already, but mine's not eating? Is the xanthan gum really going to kill them and give them cancer? They're literally off the earth. Yeah. And I just feel like, and I know that this is a common thread and it's like, sounds cliche and like women need to uphold women, but it's just true. Yeah. Like I just genuinely in every fiber of my being believe that like we as women need to just be like, that is okay.
Yes.
It is okay that your baby had a chocolate chip cookie for dinner.
Yes.
Because they wouldn't eat anything else.
100%.
And it's okay, and it's something that I constantly have to tell myself. And that's why I feel like I need to tell others too.
Agreed. Yeah. And I think too, it's okay to feel not just about your kid, but like feel those feelings about yourself or feel those, like kind of like you were saying, like that you can get into that comparison. And then for me, I mean, I was in horrible postpartum depression for the first 2.5 years of his life. Guilt, just tremendous guilt that I wasn't doing it right, that I wasn't enough. Why was I so sad all the time? Why wasn't I more grateful? I have this beautiful child who's perfect. Like, just, oh my God. And then as he got older and things started to get revealed, like when he was 2.5, this woman at a preschool that we didn't even end up going to, she was like, oh, he needs speech therapy. This is serious. Oh, no. Well, I just wept and wept and wept. So we took him to speech therapy. Of course, the speech therapist at $500 an hour was like, oh, he needs sessions and sessions. Oh my God. Then thankfully, we came to New Orleans. He wasn't even 2 yet. And so we came to New Orleans and we had my sister-in-law and her new husband come out, and he's a child psychologist. Long story short, he said, Jennifer, please stop. This child is going to be talking nonstop in 6 months. Do not worry. He was in his late 60s and had been a child psychologist his whole life. He's like, that is insane and offensive that woman did that to you. She's not even a doctor. And everyone's like so into just like being an alarmist. Just let him grow. And sure enough, 6 months in, couldn't shut him up. Thankfully, like he's still talking, but it's so interesting how there are those people too that want to chime in about, oh, don't do this or your kid should be doing this and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, oh, no. It's hard enough. It is hard enough.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. And just to be totally honest, I see a therapist and I'm working on because I don't want it to come off as though like, oh no, I was totally fine. I had this baby and I didn't have any, there was no anxiety and I mean, no, that's not at all the truth. Like every new mom, I think, has some amount of anxiety and trepidation
Of course. And not to mention the hormones that are happening. There's I think that's what I mean about the aftercare. I feel like, I mean, we won't get in. I never talk about politics on the show because it's too much, but it would be incredible if there were some kind of program, maybe government, maybe not, whatever, but like that new moms got, a year of therapy.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? Like
100%.
with an experienced therapist dealing with maternal mental health. Like it is just, just totally free and available to you. Bring your baby. Like, if you have older kids, there's childcare. I mean, this is the kind of thing I dream of, like opening up. I don't know how I would do that, but I really do. I'm like, we need this kind of thing because the isolation that I felt, I mean, that's why I started the podcast.
Right.
Because the isolation and solitude and just self-loathing that I felt, honestly, was so crippling. And I felt so robbed of those early joyful times with my baby. And it wasn't all like that. There were many moments, and I'll go back and look and I'll see little videos of us giggling together. And so there were positive moments, but I wish I would have had more of a community that I could have gone to. And I wish I would have gotten help sooner for my depression. And I still see my therapist and I still take meds and, I'm the first person to openly talk about that. And I talk about it on the podcast, and I think it's just so, anyway, so thank you for saying that.
Of course. Yeah. And I, I luckily found a therapist through my husband who also was a child psychologist. And so, so he understands where we are with Coco and her development, but also just as he's just an amazing human and person, and has been helping me just expose and unearth and, cultivate so much.
Yeah.
That like cognitive behavioral therapy is, I literally don't know where I would be in a hole somewhere without it right now. And also, yes to prescription medication. If you, if you need your Prozac or your Klonopin or whatever, like or your meditation or whatever your,
whatever's going to make you feel fucking better.
Exactly. Like,
because happy mommy equals happy kiddo.
100%. And
and spouse and all the other stuff.
House, friends, your support system, your boss, your mother-in-law, whatever.
Yeah.
Like it just is, because there is no way to do this alone.
No.
I mean, I just feel like there has to be, we're all sort of in this together, and this network is just necessary.
Oh yeah. It's crucial. And that's where the phone, and believe me, I curse the phone all the time. And I was just, I had an interview with a woman yesterday, and we probably spent 20 minutes talking about the goddamn iPhones, or not iPhones. I shouldn't say Apple. I love you, but cell phones, and our kids with their devices, which you're not there yet. One day you will be.
No, I totally am.
Are you?
Yeah.
Tell me about it. Tell me.
Well, so she was gifted an iPad for Easter. And I would never, ever, ever have purchased that for her ever, like in a million years. I mean, she would my thing was like, you can watch old videos of us, like of yourself that I've taken of you, which is awfully narcissistic and fantastic. But, anyway. And so I was like, I kind of like cursed the gifter. And then we had to take then we were getting on a plane like 2 days later.
It sure does come in handy. Oh yeah.
Okay, I see what this is for, and it was, we were going all the way to LA, and I was okay, freaking 4-hour plane ride. Like, she's a toddler. She wants to walk and do, so
It's a blessing and a curse. It's really both for all of us at all ages,
Yes. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. But what I was going to say is just that it is, well, just that it's a blessing and a curse. And it's for me, it's allowed me to create a community that I would have created it otherwise. I just would have had to do it locally here in LA with only women that could come, to my home, or we would meet in a place. But to be able to do this on this scale on a weekly basis has just been, I'm so grateful. Like, I'm so grateful. And it's not me. And I always say this, like, it's really not me. It's just this, it's all of you guys, all of the amazing guests that I have, and all of the people that support the show and listen to it and write to me and, want to get involved. And so I'm just like, if that's what came out of my pain of being just this really desperately lonely, sad new mom, like, great.
Yes.
It was worth it. It was worth it.
That's your lesson.
It was worth it. And I do want to open that center, like with,
I know,
right?
Yes.
Free therapy.
Have you been to the Den meditation?
Oh yeah. Center? Oh yeah.
Girl.
Yeah. See, something like that. That's a great business model. Something like that for moms. There would totally be childcare. Oh, girl, you got my business wheel spinning.
I know.
And we could do it everywhere. We could do it nationally. Okay, we'll talk. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. So, okay, your daughter's coming up on her 2-year birthday, which is so sweet. She's just the most adorable thing. And you guys, listeners, will hopefully click on all the things and you'll follow Kate Grace on her Instagram. So you'll get a daily dose of Coco, who's just so delicious. And what's next for you? I mean, more director of operations. I love saying that. I love saying that title.
Like world domination.
Yeah.
I work with Ashley, and we are, like we said, I've been with her for 7 years and grown the company from, one place to, this amazing other place, which is a multi-million-dollar company. And it's unbelievable.
It's
just
so
with
rad.
A lot of blood, sweat, and tears and hard work and sleepless nights. And, and it's all freaking worth it.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I mean, I have to step aside and extract myself from time to time and really look at us from a 30,000 foot perspective, because it is amazing. Like what, Ashley will even say herself, she's like, I'm a self-taught artist from Montgomery, Alabama. The odds are not that this would have happened, but she is an amazing entrepreneur.
Yeah.
She has a brilliant vision. She's very true to herself, and she speaks her truth on a daily basis. It is just who she is, and the world just loves that,
Yes.
And so
it needs more of it.
Yeah, exactly. And so being a part of it has been really, not only transformative, but, enlightening and also empowering. I mean, who would have thought, that we're here, and we're, she's got her Rizzoli coffee table book coming out.
Which I just pre-ordered.
Yes.
So by the time this airs, that will be out. And like, again, all of this will be in the show notes for listeners. Yeah. And it's a very affordable, it's gorgeous. I haven't seen it in person yet, but I saw the email, and, it's an affordable way to get some Ashley Longshore in your life and have it on your coffee table and like experience her. And her other book, You Don't Look Fat, You Look Crazy. I have. And that's another way you can order that online. And, one of the things I love most about Ashley is how she tells women, you don't need a man, number one, to pay your bills. You don't need to put your work in a gallery. She's like, sell directly to your people, whether you're an artist or not. And I just love that. And it's so empowering. And I have to say, I'm an independent podcaster. And, everything comes down to me. I have a team that I could never do this without, and I'm so grateful for them, but they all work for me. I don't work for, some of the big, like, conglomerate companies that I won't name. Well, I mean, I guess I could name them because I don't work for them, but like iHeartRadio, Sirius FM, Vox now, like, and I love that because I get to make all the decisions and choose things and choose sponsors.
Exactly.
That create products that help women, that create products in a way that is supportive of the earth. Like those things are really important to me, and I get to make those calls. And so I always hear Ashley's voice in my head of like, girl, you make the call.
She is one of the most amazing business women I've ever seen. Business persons. Yeah. I mean, fuck gender. It's like, it's like, and that's just the truth of it. And and being able to be around her and with her and just, learn. And it's been really spectacular. It's better than any business school you could ever go to.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like being there to fully experience and help, execute, deals and collaborations and fly to Shanghai and do global press conferences with, huge companies. And, I would never in a million years have thought I would have met Gloria fucking Steinem.
I know. Can you talk a little bit about that story? I want to hear about that experience.
She just is amazing. I mean, Diane von Furstenberg, Sandra Campos, who is the president of DVF, just these women that are just unbelievably talented, beautiful, honest, authentic women.
And also, like Ashley, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Those women are all completely unapologetic.
No, oh my God.
They do not give a fuck.
No, you cannot apologize. I'm sorry. Women are not allowed to apologize anymore for anything ever again, because it should be eliminated from our entire vocabulary. So we were at DVF doing the install for Ashley's inspiration room at the flagship location in the Meatpacking District in New York. And
that was last spring, right?
Exactly.
Spring. I remember watching it happen.
April. And we were sitting in the hallway just talking to Lucia, who's one of her amazing planners, and Gloria walks by us in the hallway, and we literally all were just like, oh my fucking God. Oh my God. We waited until she got into the elevator, but then we just literally became like a bunch of fangirls and freaked out. And then, they came downstairs and Diane was like, I want you to see the room. And, she toured the whole room and we like took pictures. I mean, and then I fortunately had to like a moment to talk to Gloria at an event like the next day or whatever. And I said, I'm just so curious. Are things better for women now? Are they worse? Like, what, you've been here, you've done the majority of the work. What's up? And she was like, well, they're not better, but they definitely aren't worse. So, it just, and I was like,
that makes so much sense. That makes so much sense.
It does. And it's, this, so many, we have so much opportunity and we have more, more going for us now in this day and age than we ever have. And it really is just about like focusing, getting strategic. And again, not political, not anything like that, but just from like an emotional, mental sort of like being woke standpoint. Like we have got to organize and just get out there and be heard. Because we are the reason anyone is here.
Yeah. Hello. Hello.
We are the reason you're here.
Yeah.
So you're welcome.
Yeah. Oh my God. I think that needs to be a t-shirt.
Yes, I'm serious.
I just had a vision of an Ashley painting of like a flower vagina with those bedazzled block words. The reason you're here, you're welcome.
Yeah, seriously.
Right? Maybe I'll commission that.
Please do.
Oh my God, you are just so fun. I want to hang out with you all day and all night.
I know, same.
Oh my God. But we've come to the time when I ask you 3 questions that I ask every guest, and then I ask you a lightning round of questions.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think about Kate Grace when you hear the word love?
Oh, I think about my baby immediately. Yeah. I just love her so much. It's
so yummy.
Yeah.
If you could live anywhere in the world other than where you're living now, where would you live?
Paris.
Yeah, that's right. You were married there.
Yeah. And I just freaking love that city. I just love it. Everything about it.
Yeah. I can see that. It's part of you. It's part of your blood. Yeah. Just like New Orleans is.
Exactly.
And it's so similar to Paris. I mean, obviously the French founded New Orleans. But there is that like just richness to both cities in a different way.
It's rich. It's authentic. It's also this like laissez-faire, like, we'll get it done when it gets done and it'll be beautiful.
They actually live in the moment.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. Let's see. How do you define serenity?
Oh, wow. Defining serenity I think that I would define there would have to be an element of solitude and quietness. And I think that that's something that I'm seeking that I do not have right now. Serenity is, I think, being so tapped in that you're literally living on, like in a grid or, in a way that like, any question that pops into your head is automatically answered, which is a hard thing to process or conceptualize because, people who don't question, like, what are you doing? First of all, but also like,
do you live here?
What's up?
Have you read a paper?
But also, exactly. Also just, being able to like sort of navigate and find find the answers to all of your weird, wacky questions.
Yeah. I love it. Well, I'm about to give you some weird, wacky questions. Are you ready? Okay. Lightning round. We'll start easy. Fireside or oceanside?
Oceanside.
Favorite junk food?
Fritos barbecue twists.
Oh, yeah. That sounds amazing.
They're so good. I had them for lunch today.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Do you like theme parks?
No, I'm not a theme park gal.
Daytime sex or nighttime sex?
I love daytime sex.
Shower or bathtub?
Bathtub.
Have you ever worn socks with sandals?
Yes.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how good are you at making lasagna?
I'm like a 10.5.
What?
Yeah, I'm really good at I love cooking. And we had Italian night last night. We literally had like meatballs and manicotti. And I made strawberry shortcake. Yeah, it was delicious.
Oh, that sounds incredible. I love it. I love lasagna. It's one of my favorite things ever. Like really, really good lasagna. What's your biggest pet peeve?
Gum smacking.
Oh God.
Yeah. It's like a really superficial one, but I also don't like liars. I hate people who are not honest.
Yeah.
Like I'm such an honest person that I can't stand it when people are not truthful.
Yeah. Superpower choice: invisibility, ability to fly, or super strength?
I think ability to fly. I have dreams where I'm flying, and it just is the best dream ever.
I haven't had a flying dream in for a long time. I used to have them all the time.
You're probably going to have one tonight.
Oh, maybe I will. And in the dream, I don't know about you, I'm always like doing something with my arms and legs to make it move like you do when you're swimming.
Yes.
But it's not a swim move. It's some kind of weird, specific movement that's going to keep me afloat. It's very... Okay. Would you rather have... We're going to get weird. I asked Instagram people for some new would you rather questions, but I didn't get any responses yet. So we went with the very weird one that I chose out of my weird head. Would you rather have a finger where your nose is or a nose where your finger is? Let's say index finger. I didn't specify.
Right. Oh, I think I would rather have a nose where my finger is.
Right? I know. It's kind of an obvious one. I need some better ones. Okay. What was the name of your first pet?
Oski. I had a little tabby cat named Oski.
What was the name?
He was so cute. It was the best. He would let me do anything with him. And I literally treated him like a baby. I put him in a stroller. I would stroll him up and down the block. He was awesome.
What a great name. Did you name him?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh.
I know.
What was the name of the street you grew up on?
Jenna Street.
So your porn name is Oski Jenna.
Oh, how fancy. I like it.
She's a showgirl.
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
Right? With sequins, feathers, boas, fishnet, thigh highs, the whole thing. Sure. Yeah.
Yes.
I love it. Oh my God, Kate Grace, you're a gem. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening, guys. I really hope you enjoyed my conversation with Kate Grace. Join me next week when we have a MILF podcast first, my first anonymous guest. I have a woman coming on the show who is just, I'm so excited about this, you guys. She needs to remain anonymous because of the nature of her work. She works in the sex work field. She's a mom, and I can't wait. I can't wait to share it with you. Until then, take care of yourselves, love yourselves. I love you. Keep going.